Alright, folks. Today I want to break down the most basic way that I can explain as to why you are still addicted to your drug, to your lifestyle, and why you can't seem to break out of it. I believe the video after this, I'm going to start breaking down the 12 steps of NA, or AA. The very first step says to admit that you're powerless. I think there's a point to that. However, really the first step is the most powerful thing that you can do. And if you are stuck in a bad way of life, you've probably heard from somebody that cares about you that you need to get help. Getting help, what does that mean? You need people around you that can guide you to better ways of thinking. As somebody who went through a year-long Christian rehab program, the number one way that I have seen people fail is by going back to friends or getting in relationships where drugs and alcohol are involved. The saddest part about that is that I think I get it. The reason that I got into the drug crowd, something I've had to think about a lot, to give you guys a little bit of trauma dump on you. My father struggled with drugs and left me at a young age, leaving a hole in my life. As a young person, I would be the bigger fish kind of kid who just wanted the attention and the pride from the people around me. It turns out one of the easiest ways to get pride, instead of joining the football team, obviously I'm speaking as a young person, instead of joining the book club where you have to read a lot, and in football you have to exercise and push yourself to your limits. When you join the drug crowd, one, you're kind of already joining the misfits, right? And that's something that I used to, in the drug crowd, embrace. And it's kind of hindsight that really tells me just how much that meant to me, because it felt like I joined this crowd that if I just did this one thing, which also happened to trick my brain into thinking I was happy, that if I did that one thing, I had all these people that were there to quote-unquote support me. One of the stories that I tell that I really like to inform youth of, and something that was very profound to me, was I had dropped out of high school. I was using meth and really just about anything I could get my hands on, but meth at 17 was definitely the catalyst that pushed me to new highs. I had 100 friends that would ride or die for me. I had people left and right, and I was dealing, of course. I had people left and right who told me they would bury somebody for me, that they would just do anything they could possibly do for me. The day that I woke up and I said that I wanted to do something better with my life, not only did they not support me in getting sober, they made fun of me. They mocked me. And it wasn't like a, ha ha ha, like some TV thing. It was a subtle thing. It was like, oh, like, you're too good for us now? Or, yeah, sure, go and do whatever you want to do. Of the friends, the quote-unquote friends that said they would ride or die with me in that drug crowd that I had made over quite a few years, I can put on one hand the amount that actually gave me any real support and said, yeah, man, go get your life put back together. Go graduate high school and get sober. One hand. And that's being generous. Like, when I really think about it, there was two people that were in my quote-unquote inner circle who gave me any kind of positive reinforcement to the idea of me getting sober and going back to high school. Our brains are all about something called homeostasis. I touched a little bit on this in my last video. What that means is the neurotransmitters in our body, we have quite a few different ones, and they're responsible for how we feel about life, our motivation, our sadness, the things that drive us. And naturally, drugs is what messes with that. It takes a very long time. So homeostasis, when you trap a whole bunch of dopamine, most people know what dopamine is. It's the feel good. When you trap a whole bunch of dopamine in your brain, or you're used to getting all these good feelings from an exogenous drug, when you don't have that anymore, you feel sad. And it takes up to a year after methamphetamine use for your brain to come back to normal. So when I say that you're still addicted, and the reason that you can't get out of it is because 1, friends, and 2, homeostasis. The way that those things come together. When you're in the drug crowd, you are with a broken people. And it's not a bad people. Don't get me wrong. I had plenty of good people around me that were just lost, and you're likely one of those people if you're taking this video seriously. I'm not here to say you're bad and just fix it. I'm here to say that you're probably a decent person who is making bad decisions. And your brain has been tricked for so long into thinking that drugs bring you happiness. That's an easy thing to say, right? When you quit the drug and you feel sad, that does not make the sad go away. What can actually help is having people around you who lift you up. One of my life-altering quotes, something that has been proven to be statistically studied true and just personally profound, is that you are the average of the 5 people closest to you. For me, I take on traits like a tone and a laugh, or a certain saying, the way I shake someone's hand, and it's natural. It's human to do that. When you have people around you who are still using drugs, they are looking naturally out of it's like a mechanism of self-defense to justify why they do the drug. When I was in that crowd, most of the pride that I had in my life was how big of a bong rip I could take, how many grams of meth you could ingest in or parachute at once. Just all these stupid little pride things that were only related to that world, because that when you can take a pride in it, then what's wrong with it, right? Or all the ideologies of being the misfit, like, oh, they just don't want us to do this because it opens our eyes, man. All that stuff. Step 1, the reason why you're still stuck where you are is because you don't have the support system that you need. They say step 1 is admitting you're powerless. It's true, and I'll be doing a whole video on that. However, what brings power is people around you, people who lift you up. Ultimately, God, naturally. People who can point you to something better. When you feel down, that can tell you, hey, everything is not going to always be like this. Or, hey, why don't we just go and hang out and do something fun? Because for quite a while after you stop whatever drug of choice you have, your brain is going to be trying to figure out what in the heck is going on. And you are going to feel depressed because you have imbalanced the things that make you feel happy in your life. So getting help. When I say get new friends, that does mean that you have to cast off your old friends. I said 2 people supported me. Those 2 people, when you decide to change your life, it should be so radical that everybody who still uses drugs doesn't even want to be around you. Hopefully, you have some friends who can be perspective filled enough to know that they're where they are and still support you getting to a better place. And those people might stick around for a little while. However, you have to be very careful in the way that you accept their presence. Because like I've said, there are many good people that are stuck in addiction who are just stuck making bad choices. If you're going to break out of that, you need people who know how to break out of that. You can't, when you're with those friends, they're friends for a reason, right? A lot of times when you're using drugs together, you're bonding and you're opening up parts of yourself that you wouldn't really do sober, and it gives this false reality that these people, they know you better than everybody else, or that they can support you in a way that nobody else can because of how you've been able to open up with whatever drugs that you've used, because you feel like you've shown these vulnerable parts of yourself. These things, you can do it sober too, and I promise it means a lot more. However, the point is, if you're sober all the time, you might have a couple of friends who stick around. That's great. They truly need to support you in getting sober. And what that's going to look like means they will not use or be high in your presence. Because a friend in that world represents somebody that you used to get high with, that you used to cope in life with drugs with. That's who that person is to us. When we accept their presence. And I know this sounds kind of harsh to say, and it's kind of a controversial topic because a friend is a human, and every human is a little bit different. However, if they can't respect you enough to do the bare minimum of not using a tempting substance in front of you while you're trying to be sober, are they really a friend? The two friends that I had who supported me in getting sober, they did it from a distance because they had enough maturity to understand that they were stuck in their ways. They were good people, just like many other people that are addicted to drugs. They supported me from a distance because I wanted something different with my life. I did not want to wake up, get high, go to sleep high, eat lunch, get high, the sun rises, get high. I wanted something different. And you can't maintain the same relationship that relies so heavily on a chemical that is literally altering the way that you feel about the entire world around you. That relationship is going to change. The way that your brain perceives the world is going to change. That's a good thing. And you absolutely need people around you who have coped with life without drugs to help you get through that. This whole series, guys, this is not the one video that's going to fix everything. It's taken me and takes a daily effort for me after almost a decade to feel happy sober, to feel, it's not always happy, to feel content being sober, to feel like I don't need to go back to drugs. There's a lot to it. And the number one way that I have found success in sobriety is by surrounding myself with people who are sober and truly know how to cope with life without using drugs. It is a skill. It is such a skill, guys. In the end of this, I've heard so many people with so many different justifications or some very true, inspiring stories of them and their wife being able to get sober together at different times. If you are a single person, this comes from my experience. I was fully enveloped in the party world. And like I said, I had 100 friends, quote unquote friends. You have to separate yourself in order to be with people who know how to cope with life without drugs. That is most of the reason that most of us use drugs, is whether we have some big trauma to deal with, which is definitely a studied thing, that drug addiction is heavily involved with past trauma. I know that's true for me, although my trauma is hardly comparable to many others. Or whether you just find life to be bearable with it. It doesn't matter. There are tools. There are so many that I'm going to have entire series on. I have a 40,000 word document that I've written on how I stay sober, from exercising to mentality to diet to God to, there's so much, guys. There's so much to being sober. Take the first step. Get help. Leave the people who keep you where you are. You are the average of the 5 people closest to you. It's inevitable. If this video has rang true to you in any way, shape, or form, I will be doing one video a week. The next one, I'm going to start on the 12 steps, what those have meant to me. I have a lot to add as somebody who has been sober for quite a long time and who's made a great and beautiful life that I can't wait to share with you guys. So we'll eventually get to all those tips and tricks and tools and coping mechanisms as well. It's real, guys. There is happiness in sobriety. It's not this perfect picture, but it is sober, and it does not have the extreme highs with the extreme lows in it. It's beautiful. It's real. Stick around. You'll find it.